Yeah, sure.
Obviously,
bit hard to miss, yeah.
it's more or less saying that we as a community have now united and we do
Yep.
not want to wish to engage in any decision-making process until we have generated our own governance.
Yeah.
We feel as if we're not being properly represented. We feel there's a lot of issues that we haven't been heard, and there are lots of issues that the state government are not taking into consideration. And we are gravely concerned about our future, and especially the future of our kids.
Sure.
And that's why we've united, and we're not going to now engage in any more discussion.
Yeah.
And we're not going to filter any more information to the government and transfer any more information to the government until we feel as if we have a strong enough body to represent us.
So can we talk about that? Because it'd be good to hear what it is.
Well, by all
if you
means,
like, yeah.
it's just
We're happy
a
to sit
simple.
down
Yeah,
here.
no, I'm more than happy.
By all means, mate, just have a seat.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Sit down.
That's it. Should I meet any of the other mob?
Well, more or less, these are just, these are just
Northern Residents.
right. That's old Paulie Cox. He's one of the eldest one there.
Yeah, I've only got four.
Gail, hi.
We're all rips. And new steering wheel.
Okay.
And
Oh,
Kathleen out the
Kathleen,
back,
yeah, hi.
and that's old girl Elsa's boy, who's also a broomshire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And just generally all these other guys at the back are just support bodies, and they're just people who are just giving us support for our independence.
Sure.
And yeah.
Okay, well let's sit down and
Yeah.
you tell us how you think things should go.
It's not necessarily how we think we should go, it's just a simple fact that for the last 6 years, Beagle Bay hasn't had any governance.
Hello, Dad.
For the last 6 years, the land management body for this area has been abolished, and it's been under intervention for the last 6 years. In the last 6 years, that's allowed government and industry in so many different ways to come onto our country and negotiate certain agreements, negotiate potential agreements in regards to LNG hubs. All right, so what's that done is it's created a division now. It's created a lot of division amongst our community groups in regards to interest groups. Outstations are now separated from traditional owners. Traditional owners are no longer considering community-based people. And so everybody is automatically being divided, and people are having to represent themselves independently. But the reality of the factor is that the land management body, or the core group that manages the land here and holds the trust, is BBCI, which is Beagle Bay Incorporated, this community. And so in order for us to gain some sort of stability, in order for us to gain some sort of grounds to speak and properly represent ourselves, we need to focus on generating that governance structure to obtain that lease. To obtain some sort of grounds is where we can fight and actually have the right to negotiate terms and conditions in relation to development.
With BBCI hasn't been functional for a couple of years now.
6 years almost.
Yeah.
And it's been strategic government advice, I believe, that's allowed that, because government has played a certain hand in this whole process in relation to the intervention, and they have only met the demands for essential services, and that's all. They've only come into this community and they've only addressed the issues of essential services because every human being in Australia is entitled to that. And we are entitled to that as people out here. But in regards to any sort of further development, any further benefits, any sort of training, any sort of incentive for us to create our own sustainable infrastructure has never been put on the table in the last 6 years. And what's that done? It's given the people, there's been not only divisions amongst interest groups, but there's also been divisions within this community. There were association bodies in the first place that were a part of the BBCI, and then there were other sort of movements, and other association bodies being created to handle the situation as a more immediate, immediate process. And by doing that, it's gone and contradicted one itself, and there's a conflict of interest now within our community because of that. And it's been through the assistance and through the guidance of not only state government, but federal government. Now we as a community have put our heads together and we've realized the situation we are in, and we've realized we're not really in a good position. But in actual fact, we are still the land management body for this area, for these lands around here, and we still hold the land's trust, the 99-year lease tenure for this area. That's at least some sort of stability for us. That's some sort of ground for us to now focus on how we can better represent all these interest groups. We have only